Hi, Dave Crispin. Rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is something which is really important for us as a coach. First of all, we've got to establish rapport with a potential client. They've got to feel comfortable with us. We've got to develop a mutual understanding of sorts so they feel comfortable in speaking about the issues that they've got. And if we are fortunate enough to engage them as a client, then when we work with them, we need them to allow us in. And what I mean by that is for them to feel comfortable in talking about their deeper issues, because they're not likely to do that with someone that they don't know, like, or trust. And that's what rapport is about. It's being able to connect with someone on a deeper level. There are a number of ways in which we build rapport, and one of the big pieces for me is body language. When I speak with someone, I get an idea of what sort of signals they're putting off, because body language is a big piece. When we use that model, the 55% model, 55% of the communication is via body language, 38% via tonality, and only 7% of the language that we use. So you get to see whether there's a congruency in what they're telling you with their body language. In NLP, we use what's called Predicates, which is a representational system of their language. If they use a lot of language such as, I see what you mean, or I need things in black and white, that's a bit grey, or that's quite colourful, then we know they're a visual person. Because there are 5 types of systems which we use in NLP: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, olfactory and gustatory. There are a number of ways there which we can also pick up on with their eye accessing cues, where they're breathing. There are many ways to build rapport, and they're very powerful, very strong. Active listening is another piece. When we actively listen, which is what I mentioned just a minute ago with regards to listening to the language that our client uses, if we just hear our client as opposed to listen, the difference is that we may miss quite a bit. We hear ambient sounds around us. When we listen, we actively listen, we pick up on the tone of their voice. We pick up on the pauses that are in between their sentences, or the emphasis that they may give on a word. And one technique which I teach to my clients when listening is an issue is attending, following and reflecting. So basically attending is being fully present, turning up to the conversation fully. The following is listening intently to the conversation, to the feelings, to the emotions, or sometimes even what's not said. And then the reflecting is basically summarising what's being said. So you feed back when the person allows you in, there's a break in the conversation, you can reflect back what you've heard. So a brief summary. Okay, so what I heard you say was, or I understand you're saying, and you reflect it back. That gives them the opportunity to say yes or no, that's not what I said. That leads into barriers to communication. And there can be many barriers to communication. First of all, you've got to be able to break down some of those barriers that are there. That could be preconceived biases, whether it's cultural, gender. It could even be a hierarchy type of thing, whether you're working with someone that's a CEO and you've always been someone that's worked on the shop floor. It could be finances or politics. Another way which could be a barrier to communication is when you've got an agenda there, when you've already got some preconceived idea about what you want to do when they start talking or who they are as a person. It could be something like where they've been on holiday and you know that you've been to a better place. Or it could even be something to do with questioning techniques. when you start asking questions like why, or you challenge them, or you use you language. They're all barriers to communication.